Alright, the mics are on, and this is episode 5. I want to say episode 5 of Open Gym. No. We are having technical difficulties. I am lost. This is episode 5 of Nutty North.
Presented. I told you not to go out last night. Told you.
That's crazy.
This was going
and
out.
everybody blames me for going out a lot.
That's
My
crazy.
gosh.
I was at home in bed, 10 o'clock, asleep.
That's crazy.
I ain't your baby mama, bro. You ain't got to lie to me. You just keep it
That's crazy.
This is episode 5 of Nutty North, presented by Mojo Sports Gear. I am Rondell Sutherland here with T. Nesbitt, and we got a special guest with us. I forgot his name.
Wow.
You gonna have to introduce yourself, man.
What's going on? Ty Fisher.
Mr. 90 Minutes with Ty Fisher is here with us.
That just sounded like a when you checking into work doing orientation. Like, hi everybody, I'm Ty Fisher.
Yeah. Maurice couldn't be here with us today. You know, he's out handling some business, so we had to sub somebody in. So we brought in Ty. So to get everything started off and popping.
Are we sure we're good now? That's the question.
Better be live.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah,
All right,
we
cool.
live. I hear it on the live. So we good.
Alright, awesome.
So to get everything started off, everything popping, and we don't be late, we're going to start off with training camp. And then you want to take it away, Ty? I mean, you know your name, T.
I do know my name. But I don't drink anymore. I did sometimes. I forgot it. But I'm happy. It's back. Football's back. You know me, man. Any type of sport. When we started this, there was no sport at all. Nothing. So just we're at the point now where everything's going to be over covered. Nobody cared about training camp as much as people do now. Nobody cared about scrimmages and practices and the whole nine like they do now, just because we have a sport back. I'm just ready to see something. It's nice to see the little mini camp coverages and seeing some of the new faces and old places, and some old faces and new places too. Going out there and getting some type of chemistry together. I mean, we all know COVID is going to be different, but I think it's just good to have some type of semblance of normalcy back, and sports is normal. So I'm happy for it.
Yeah, I'm happy for it too. What about you, Ty? I know you ain't a football guy like that, right? You more soccer?
Yeah. But I mean, I still watch it.
Right.
I mean, I think without football, I don't think there would be any other sense of normalcy if there wasn't football. So with there being like coverage, training camp and whatnot, you know, slowly but surely starting to get back to normal, possibly without fans, but it's always good to have all sports back to somewhat normalcy.
All right. So, how do y'all think players are adjusting? Because I know I read about Sam Hubbard when he got to training camp. He said even though it's football, you know, he's happy to be back. It feels different.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
y'all see any reports like that?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's just like the basketball players with the bubble and, you know, soccer, baseball, everything. Like, you have to adjust. It's going to be a different ball game. Everything, even, you know, everybody's life changes. It's not just the football players and athletes and stuff like that. It's everybody's life is going to change. So, I mean, you have an opt-in and opt-out situation. You can come and play and know that everything's not going to be normal, knowing that, you know, at any moment you might have a swab stuck up your nose. You know what I'm saying? Like, your temperature checked, whatever. However they're going to have to do it to make sure that they're getting some sense of normalcy, it's going to happen. So I think if you're looking forward to being how training camp was last year, you're the one that's misguided. So I just think it's going to be adjustment for everybody. I mean, watching football with no fans is going to be adjustment, unless you're a Rams fan, and otherwise you're used to seeing no fans at your games. But outside of that,
You mean Chargers?
Rams, Chargers, no, Rams and Chargers.
No, Rams had fans. Rams has always had fans. The Chargers never had fans.
St. Louis, they did. I'm talking about LA. They both in LA now.
Right, but the Rams still in LA have fans. The Chargers did not. The Chargers had nobody.
I mean, these last few years, I don't think the Rams have had any fans.
So you mean to tell me when the Rams Didn't they make the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
like,
they had no fans.
What? Okay, bro. That's crazy.
They did.
That's crazy.
It was like the Heat back in the day when you would look at the Heat games where they had LeBron, Wade, and Boston, it would be like a half-empty stadium. Like, why do you have to realize this is Miami, this is LA? And that's kind of my point about it. Like, I didn't think it was any, reason to put two LA teams there anyway, just because it's not like it's that much of a demand. So when you look at the games, like you bring up the footage of those stadium games, it's half empty. At least, more than half empty because people weren't coming to the games. It was just different. Now, St. Louis, they were there. I agree with you on that one. The Chargers.
I still think the Chargers. Chargers have never had nobody.
No.
And especially after they left San Diego and went to LA and were playing in Dignity Health Sports Park, where they share that stadium with a soccer team.
Look at that. Soccer knowledge.
Yeah, they do. Of course, that soccer team draws more fans than the football team anyway. But nonetheless, in San Diego, they had, I want to say, like 70% capacity at every game. Now that they're in LA, when they're in San Diego, now they're in LA, they have nobody. They have like at least 65% capacity.
That's no good.
Yeah, I know.
That's no good at all.
But I'm a Dolphins fan, so.
Talk about no fans at a game. Hey, Fitz magic. But it's going to be a different look, though. But, I think the way the world has went, we have that different look. Like, we are forever seeing no fans at games. The basketball, they're doing it. They have virtual fans and stuff like that. But for the most part, there's no fans there. Baseball, empty stadiums. Soccer, empty stadiums. Hockey, empty. You're just going to get used to it. It's the phrase is kind of getting overused, but it's still reality. It's the new normal. So, at the end of the day, the game doesn't change. So, I think just like all the other sports, once the game is played, nobody's going to care about the fans in the stadium and that. It's just happy to have it back. And we're all just kind of looking forward to it continuing and kind of waiting for that moment that everything blows up to. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that's around the corner. The moment somebody decides to go out to the club and kick it a little bit and come back and COVID up the place, that could be an issue. So it's just football is always really interesting to see because so many different things can happen during the course of a season. But just like everything else, it's just a different ball game completely. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
I pose a question to both of you guys. Do you think the NFL should have done a bubble? Like basketball.
I don't think it's really possible for them to do a bubble. Like they're kind of like MLB; they're always moving. So I don't really think it would be possible unless
I saw something.
Unless they do hub cities like hockey did.
Yeah, I saw something. One of my friends posted on Twitter said that if they were to do one, they would more than likely have it in London.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
It really wouldn't. But
I wouldn't be against them. Like, spread the season out more. Take the 4 weeks that you take away from preseason, make it into, 21, 22 weeks or something like that, and then give each team kind of like buys when they're traveling far. Like if you have to travel to like Los Angeles and your East Coast team, give them a week off for a bye. That way they can quarantine or whatever. You got a week of practice, week to get yourself together, and get the other team that too. You'll have more time to be able to kind of maneuver things around, and this is the COVID time. So, you gave one bye each year, every other year. This year's just going to have to be different. I know college football, I think it's like 3 byes for their schedule. That's how it's going to have to be. You're going to have to adjust and move things kind of accordingly. So I think, going back to your point about the bubble, I think that's why they couldn't have a bubble because it's week by week. So, the NBA, you're really asking the players to stay away from their family and all that for a couple months. That's doable. NFL, it's probably about 3-4 months, and then you have the playoff time, and it's just kind of extending a lot of time of being away from normalcy. And I don't think with the moving parts they will be able to condense that unless they move to a situation where it's like a wide world of sports thing, that they can find an area where you can play multiple games. That's where the NBA has the areas. They can play multiple games at this point. And because of that, they can kind of move it around and say, we'll have, let's say, for example, the Browns, Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, and Jets, Dolphins. All three of those teams will be playing in the same area at the same time, the same space. So it's easier to kind of do that week by week. Or they can kind of give a couple days off and then play like Sunday and then Thursday and just have a different set. Like, long story short, you're going to have to do something dramatically different, something that goes against tradition, but every sport has to have to do that to be able to run. So you kind of have yourself in that situation where you either have to make a decision to adjust or you won't have your sport. So that's what the NFL will have to figure out.
Yeah. Okay. So have you seen any of, like, you said by default since you're, what was it, a fan of the crew, that you're a Browns fan, so
Yeah.
I'm here with two Browns fans. That's kind of sucky. But have y'all seen y'all team do anything to combat this? Because I know with the Bengals, that Zach Taylor, he has all his QBs in a separate room for, like, to watch film and all that other stuff. So have y'all seen anything like that with the Browns?
Not necessarily as of yet, but I think just going back to the Beckham thing that I know they dropped that he was saying like, oh, the NFL shouldn't have a season or whatever, and then it came back and was like, oh, this happened before he seen what happened in the Browns area. So I know when I watch, I think it's called Behind the Browns or something. I can't remember the name, but it's a show about the Browns and it's kind of like a Hard Knock show. But it just covers a lot of stuff. The Browns have been already ahead of the curve as far as keeping things safe and clean and all that. So as far as the reports go, I don't think nothing's coming out. But we do live in a negative kind of media age too, where they're not going to report, oh, this is a spit shine operation. You know what I'm saying? This is squeaky clean. They got everything together. This is a great place to play. They're not going to report that. So. It's more so I haven't seen it because it's just not being recorded, but I do know the Browns have, at least through the COVID situation, been ahead of the game on making sure their area was safe and sound.
All right.
Yeah. I can concur with that.
All right. Okay. Yeah. We just having a whole bunch of technical difficulties. But
It's not, man. It's part of the process.
yeah, it's part of the process.
It's okay.
Let's see. Let's talk how I think the training camps now have both the rookies and the vets there. So, do you truly believe that this is a safe option for the NFL right now?
No.
I don't think nothing's safe. I mean, it's the best that they can do, I guess. Especially, I think it was. Don't quote me on it. I want to say it was 95 players were tested and were found to have COVID, which was like 2%. So I would have to say whatever they're doing is working without a bubble. The NBA, I know they had a 0% situation, but the NBA also has a bubble. You're not going in and out of places. You're not moving around freely. You're not, doing those kind of things. So I think it's supposed, like, if you have 1% rate in the NBA, you're in panic mode. But I think the NFL, with the numbers being that low, they're erring on the side of safety. Whatever they're doing is kind of working, and they have to get it. I don't think it's more so a number of done a good job of kind of finding the players who have COVID or have the symptoms or whatnot, and they're doing the right things with them by keeping them away from the teams until they're ready to go back out there. So, from the looks of it, it looks like the NFL is paying special attention to the people who ended up having it. That way, they already know the people who are in their camps and stuff are together. And I think just like the NBA, the NFL has money. They have enough to get tests and run their business the way that they need to run their business. So I don't see it being too much of a problem, unless, again, like I said, somebody goes out and you can't control what a player does when they're out of your vision, especially when you have 80 players, so it's just kind of working around that.
You said you said what, 90 something players had?
I think it was like 95 or something like that.
95. When do you know when that was last reported?
I think it was today, actually.
Oh, I see 56.
50. That's what I said. Don't quote me.
Yeah. I didn't know if that was something that was reported before, and then I just typed in NFL COVID release, and then
56.
according to the Washington Post here,
Okay.
I have 56 have tested positive. But
Yeah.
of course, I mean,
So is it
right,
2% though?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
alright.
like right here, I mean, I can understand that it's expected to deal with positive testing results, but I think, I mean, you're gonna have that no matter what. You're gonna have positive tests. Now, whether or not you want to choose to weed out the positive tests, so that way you can continue and keep testing other than that, and then and check the NBA. Like NBA has like nothing so far. And I don't know if that's gonna be the same way with NFL after they like weed out the or quarantine the positive players and then see results drop or not.
I think they'll have to figure because it's just it's really what you're doing is you're telling everybody to be safe and be smart. And as we've known with NFL players, they don't always make the smartest, safest decisions. I mean,
Right.
historically, it's just always a thing with NFL athletes. So I think it's just more so just it's no different than any governor or mayor or whatnot. They're all telling you the same thing: be safe, be smart, cover your faces when you're coming around, and be able to handle things the way the pandemic is dictating you handle it. You can't handle it like you used to. You used to walk around willy nilly doing whatever you wanted to. Now you can't do that anymore. So I just think it's more so about policing yourself and not having to have, Big Brother tell you what to do all the time. At some point, it's not that big of a deal. You can afford masks. You know what I'm saying? You wear a mask for a living when you play football. You know what I mean? I get you can breathe a little different in it, but you still put a mask on your head. You can put a mask to walk into a place. You know exactly what you're doing when you go out to some area, like just how the going back to basketball with Lou Williams, it's not just you affecting one person or you affecting two people, whatever the case may be. You affect the whole league once you do stuff like that. So if you're an NFL player and you decided to opt in, you're also to me opting in with the I'm going to be safe and smart and do the right thing.
I'm gonna be responsible, not go out to strip clubs or whatever.
Yeah, pretty
Like,
much.
try to stay safe, quarantine myself.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's all you have to do. So it's like, if I can do what I need to do, then I have to depend on the NFL and their teams to do what they need to do, which is have proper COVID testing, proper just protocol. Like before, I know we talked about it, I think it was last week, how the NFL had their protocols and what they were doing as far as making it safe for the players.
Yeah, it was.
And
It was. I think we
it
was
was 2
talking
weeks
about
ago.
the letter, right? Roger
Yeah.
Goodell.
But it's more so like have me a plan that lets me know that you're going to hold up to your end of the bargain. Like this ain't no different than any other relationship. A lot of times relationships become 100 to 0. You give me your all, I give you nothing. And to me, it should always be 50-50. And I think the NFL needs to work with their players the same way. Like, I give you my half, you give me your half. You be transparent with me, I be transparent with you. If you want me to come play the football game for you, you need to make sure it's safe for me to do that. So I just think it's the players have to do what they have to do to stay quarantined, to stay, COVID free, and the NFL has to do what they need to do to make sure that these players can stay COVID free. And the rare cases, and again, if it's not 95 or 56, the rare cases that they're able to get them guys together and say, okay, you have COVID, you got a week off now, or you got 2 weeks off now. You can't come back until you have 3 negative tests or something like that. Like make it a protocol where everybody knows what's up. It's just it seems like a lot of stuff is just wing it, and that can't happen.
Okay, so, well, we know right now that the NFL had put in place that only 80-man rosters for the training camp. Have you seen any moves there? Because I know the Bengals have. They cut one player and they waived another, but I don't know all the moves that they did.
Well, this training camp ain't no different than any other training camp. It's cut bodies. There's a phrase that's called camp bodies. And that's where your fourth quarterback come into play at, and your second kicker, and your second punter, and whatever. So it's more so. I mean, this is an important time for the bottom of all these rosters because there won't be no preseason games for you to be able to show yourself off or nothing like that. But I think it's needed just because of the way the COVID thing is. I was just looking at Detroit the other day, and Detroit didn't have Matt Stafford because allegedly it was a false COVID test. But still, what happens if you don't have a Matt Stafford? You're going to need to have not only your backup quarterback's going to have to step into his spot, but you're going to need to find another backup. So it's more so they're getting a better look at all these players. Like I think it's going to be a different kind of training camp now. Instead of, I think it'll be more of an anomaly, like you just said. There's been a Bengals player cut and just kind of replaced. He probably was hurt or something. But I think for the most part, they're going to ride this thing out all the way to the end because you don't know. You have to really, everything has to be different. You have to own different, coach different, teach different, play different. Everything's different. So it's just kind of having to get in that mindset.
Hi, Bob.
Who has the nerves and audacity to call me doing the show? I'm telling you, bro. This
Scam likely.
Hey, man.
bro.
That happened.
No
I was
respect.
getting text messages yesterday, so
Man,
that happens. Man.
we ain't even blowing up. It better be a sponsor.
It's probably not. I
I
mean,
know it's not.
Like, anytime I do my show,
right?
I get like Facebook messages, Snapchats, Twitter notifications. I'm just like, y'all leave me alone.
Like, let me do my
I'm
show.
busy
Let me
right
do
now.
my show.
Yeah, I'm literally doing the show. Nobody wants you until you're doing the show.
Somebody broke something back there.
Yeah.
That's not good.
But we about to go on break real quick. When we come back, we're gonna continue with training camp and we're gonna talk a little Ravens and Steelers. All right, and we are back. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just talking more training camp right now. The most interesting thing that I saw out of the Ravens training camp is that Marquise Hollywood Brown has put on 23 pounds. He seems like he's coming this new season. He seems like he's coming serious. Like he's trying to improve how Lamar did.
That's a lot of pounds to pick up.
Right.
Like, I want to know what he was doing. That's the most. Forget the he gained 23 pound aspect of it. I want to know exactly what he did. Like I want to hear, man, on Mondays I ate lobster, crab, burgers, freaking rooster. I want to see the menu that he had over that time frame.
Yeah. Like he bulked up for real.
I mean, I feel him though. Like I respect it, especially you getting money now. Like, hey, I can eat whatever I want to. I ain't got to worry about the Uber Eats fees or nothing, the DoorDash, none of that. Go ahead, I'm tipping too. Bro, he was like Cinnabon $5.99 for the delivery.
Hold up. Well, you think he was just snacking, just eating?
He better be. If
I
you
mean,
just put up 23
look,
pounds.
we just
I
talked.
mean, what if he was just working out and
Yeah.
just got bigger?
No,
I mean-
I got a fat man mentality. So like, in my world. Nah, screw that. He was over in Raleigh. He was getting double fries, extra cheese. He was mixing up stuff at Subway. He got the rib sandwich twice.
Come on,
He
man.
didn't even get, bro, that rib sandwich slap. For real,
Hey,
for
Big
real.
Beefer does sound good, right?
Man,
now.
listen.
It don't really.
It
And you
does,
Marquise
really.
Brown, so you really don't even be having to pay for stuff half the time because the Ravens were a good team. So you know he just going in wherever place and being like, yo, let me get about 5 of them on stack. Saying something cool like that, like put that on stack. And
That's
getting
crazy.
big. Like,
You don't think what, man? We always have this argument about.
I don't know what he just went on, but I'm just
I
saying.
just feel like he over there. I mean, you put 23 pounds on, like, I
Bro,
feel
we
like
was just last week talking about Baker getting in shape, and we talking about Marquise gaining weight because out there he was looking like a stick.
well, Baker had a little gut over there. He had a little baby gut going, so
Well, when you win the Heisman, you can do pretty much whatever you want.
True.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
Began.
You mean to tell me that
You don't see Joe Burrow doing any of that.
you
don't
mean
see
to
him
tell
do-
me that Joe Burrow
There's
has
been video of him putting in work. He looked ripped. That's another thing. Joe Burrow looking ripped. Have you seen that?
I mean, everybody looks good when you ain't getting a 300-pound D tackle chasing after you. Like, just,
Well, I mean, like he could run away from a 300-pound D tackle.
let's hope so.
Can it though?
All right, bro. All right. I was just trying to talk about Marquise Brown putting on some weight. He out there looking like he trying to be receiver one. If Coach was here, he would have appreciated that.
Yeah, that's because that's his thing. Like, of course. Like, but in reality, like, nah, like, all jokes aside, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, he was putting in work. Like, I can guarantee you that. The 23 pounds over a course of, a few months? That's where I'm getting he was grubbing at. Because it's a mix of it. Like, I'm pretty sure he was, because when you that little,
I mean,
trust me,
like,
believe me.
He at least had his cheat day. Like we all
Yeah,
seen what
man.
The Rock eat on his cheat day. Like that man he eat a lot. So
Yeah,
he at
listen.
least had his cheat day.
The Rock is made like that. Just playing with people, bro. Rock ain't working out. He just get somebody chisel that dude, bro. He's different than Marquise Brown. I'm gonna tell you that. But I mean, I just think it's more so. I mean, that's good to see. Seeing 23-pound gain, that's something you don't see every day. So
All right.
I would think it'd be a good thing for him. I mean, he's super fast, so I mean, if he loses a little bit of speed, what he's gonna run like a 4.4, that's still gonna work out for
I mean,
him.
what did he run?
I think he ran like a 4.3, maybe. Don't quote me on it.
I could look it up.
But as long as to me, as long as your speed is still cool, he's gonna still be cool. That's his thing. He was probably gonna be the wide receiver one anyway. You need to be trying to get better. You need to be trying to get more physical. You need to be working on your body. So it's good to see that he's doing something. So I mean, shout out to him.
Yeah, he ran a 4.32.
Okay, yeah. So you running 4.42 if he gets chubbier. That's
I
all right.
wish John Ross would do something. He ran a 4.2.
Yeah,
That man too fast to be injured all the time.
he ran to the sideline. Dude's going.
That's crazy.
All right, so something that caught my eye was that the NFLPA created a whistleblower
Whistleblower?
whistleblower hotline.
Hotline. Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was because I'll be watching Sports Center on Snapchat in the mornings.
Right.
As soon as I wake up, this is what I do: grab my phone, get on Snapchat, watch Sports Center, and well, they want the NFL they want the players to snitch on each other. I mean, what's going on?
I mean,
I want to hear them snitch calls though. That's the most important. What do you say though? Like, yo, I
I
just
mean,
see the.
at least it's the Players Association that's doing this hotline. Like they came up with let's have a hotline to talk about if you got COVID or not. So if they got it, like somebody got snitched.
NFBA hotline. Yeah, I don't feel safe in my training camp. I know of like one person that has COVID. May I have the name, please? What? Man, that would really make me upset. If I'm in training camp, right, and I see a player that I didn't know got tested, or I don't know results. If I see a player walk off and then I don't see him for like a while back, and then I hear through the grapevine that one of my own teammates ratted out another one of my own teammates, or anything like that, I'm gonna be upset.
See that opens up a different can of worms too. Because what if you have let's say a tight end in front of you, and you're like, man, I'm really trying to play. I really want this dude's spot. 1-900 snitch. Like, yo, I seen this dude at the gyro cart the other day. No mask on, no gloves, no nothing, and he got a kiss. Lock him up. Lock him up.
And you got a kiss.
Then the very next week, oh no, I was just playing. He's alright. He cool. But I just
couldn't do it.
I get it, but I mean I'm not a fan of tattletales, so I mean I understand it because it's so much on the line.
All right.
It is. So I mean, just being real, like somebody's gonna call that line. But it's just about players being responsible. It's about players.
I mean, when it comes down to it, like last week we were talking about Roger Goodell has nothing in place, but if the PA is creating something like this is something in place at least for them to combat it.
PA need to ask for some of Goodell's money because they doing all the work. I mean, I would.
That's a good point.
I think you need a couple little extra ducats. But I mean, everything is just a wait and see approach for real. We need to see how everything plays out, the what, the wins, the whys, the who's, who blows everything up. Can we get this thing structured? Is not even just the NFL, like what does the government officials have to say? Because sometimes it may get out of our hands, out of our control. So I just think, I mean, it's higher ups that are paid to make these decisions. So I mean, somebody needs to figure out the kind of structure. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well,
Fair point.
yeah, that is kind of a fair point. Even though y'all were just making jokes about being snitches and everything.
I mean, that's just.
You mean to tell me that you wouldn't be upset if somebody
if it was a legitimate reason, I wouldn't be upset. But if it was just like he said, I'm what QB1 or I'm halfback one, and you try to get me out of the way, then yeah, we got problems.
He's just calling like, man, look, I'm calling my people like, hey, start me in fantasy this week. Go ahead and pick me up. Running back ahead of me ain't gonna be playing, so a lot of carries coming my way.
That's crazy.
Let me call 1-800 snitch on that player.
That's
out of here. FCC. Yeah, I mean it's something for everybody, even the snitches. So
Something for everybody, even the snitches.
Even the snitches.
We should put that. All right.
He's the one that started the 1-900 snitch line.
All right, bro.
That's what happened.
All right, I was about to say
Brought
we
to you
should
by
put that
First
on the shirt,
48.
and you went and ruined it. That's crazy. Hold up, I did not see that. It said NFL has 56 positive COVID tests.
Yeah, he really doesn't pay attention.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't.
We literally talked about.
I know y'all were. I was over here having technical difficulties.
I literally had it up too.
That's crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's still right here. Look at that, right?
How was I posting though? I'm over here trying to fix everything.
Let's show the viewers at home.
Man, put your computer away. I got computers over here.
But say you better be happy that right Facebook message didn't come through.
Right?
Or that video message.
Huh?
Picture mail.
Hey.
Tired of guy.
Tired of guy.
Y'all are messed.
I'm calling tired of guy for no reason.
Hey, you the one with the messages coming to.
Man.
I ain't got no
freely showing his.
Yeah. Ain't scared of nothing, so. Right now we about to talk.
He did the Dragon Ball Z thing. Ain't that Dragon Ball Z? Was it Pokemon? I don't know.
Come on, man. That's Dragon Ball Z. Come on. Oh man, T.
Man, listen. I'll shake my. Never mind.
All right, man. But before we keep going, catch us on Score. Catch us on scoreonair.com or scoreonair at facebook.com.
Are you good, bro?
You gotta make sure I told you he be going out on these wins and then want to stumble in on Thursday. Wait to get one yesterday.
Oh man.
He just was like, no, I'm about to just kick it.
Everything. I'll be on the road sometimes on Wednesday. Then Thursday I'll be like, what happened? But yeah, check us out, scoreonair.com or scoreonair at facebook.com, where we have all live streams, daily blogs, daily content. Just check us out, scoreonair.com, Oh, where am I now? Yes, sir. Now we're going to go into a little predictions. The Bleacher Report had put out predictions for all 32 teams, so we're going to talk about the AFC North teams. Which one y'all want to start out with first?
Start with your Bengals.
I mean, we ain't had to, but all right, let's start with Bengals.
Go ahead, bro. You said from the bottom up.
That's crazy. All right, but
not at the bottom.
they're
I think they are. Of course, I can't.
No, we're not at the bottom. They got us. Our Super Bowl odds is 100-1. That's
an improvement. 4-12 out here.
Come on, 4-12. Yes, sir.
Burrows get you 2 wins. Mad at you.
I mean, look. I said, I don't know what I said. I think I said 6-10, 8 at best or something. Yeah, so 4-12 ain't that. It ain't that bad.
Best.
Yeah. But it says,
I mean, look, the 4 ain't bad.
What you mean?
4 wins.
It depends on who the 4 ones come against.
That's true.
I mean, it's gonna come against Miami. I think we got Miami.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead, talk about it while I type it up right there.
Well, I mean, I think I said 5-11.
I think you did.
Was their peak. So I mean, this is around where I expect them to be. They need growing pains. They're going to go through them, especially. I mean, more than anything, it's Burrows is going to start, but the first live action he's going to get is week 1. It ain't going to be no preseason. It's not going to be no growing pains that he's going to be able to get through. So he's going to have to figure it out on the fly. And I don't think that helps win you games this year. But I do think that being under as much pressure as he's going to be under, it will help him going forward. Just because you're going to have to learn on the fly. And if Joe Burrows is as smart as he's shown to be, then he'll be able to adjust and he'll be able to make some moves happen. And he'll be able to kind of figure things out. It may not translate in the win department, but you can be like Kyler Murray. Excuse me. I think Kyler Murray had a pretty good year last year. I mean, he won the Offensive Rookie of the Year, but his team won 4 games. So it's not like you're going to look at him and say, well, you're a winner. No, but you're a guy that can take it to the next level. I feel like Kyler Murray, I think he had an adjustment too because it wasn't a COVID situation, but he came from playing baseball. So being a 2-sport star and then playing, being a Heisman winner, you have more things to do outside of, just pretty much chilling and doing school stuff and then playing your sport. You pretty much are working already, just getting into the baseball draft. That's a process. That's a lot to have to deal with, and then still going out and being able to execute, being the rookie of the year. I think that's a good way for Burrows to look at that as a barometer and say, okay, it may not show up in the win column, but if I throw 3,000 or something yards and 20 TDs, 8 interceptions or something like that, can we build on it? So I think it's more so just it's a build year for Cincinnati, but it would have been that way in a normal year too.
Okay.
You stick with Zach Taylor? It's right here. It says a relatively inexperienced head coach in Zach Taylor, by the way.
I mean, we knew that from the first season going in. He didn't call a play. I mean, they said he was the quarterback coach, so he came in to improve Andy Dalton, but we all saw what happened.
I just think it's a transition year for both of them. Like they're going to have to grow together. I think that's why they got Zach Taylor last year. It was pretty much like if you can work miracles and you can get Dalton balling and you can do this and you can do that, then cool. It's a whole different ball game. But if you can't, we'll cut him. We'll draft another quarterback. Y'all can grow together. Because Dalton wasn't Zach Taylor's guy. I mean,
Yeah, he
so-
wasn't. I mean, Ryan Finley was supposed to be Zach Taylor's guy. We saw what happened there.
Yeah,
That man barely threw a ball at all.
yeah. He's like Osweiler. I hate to say it,
But I mean, the biggest problem with Zach Taylor that I've been saying is that he got to relinquish play call. That's his biggest problem.
Well, I mean, he has to figure that out, and that's the thing. That's where you build on. Zach Taylor has a year already that he's gonna have to build on, and that's it's not a lot. Don't get me wrong, but you're in the toughest division, or at least one of the toughest divisions out in the NFL.
Right.
So if you can go and double your wins, then cool. I mean,
Yeah, it's an improvement on last season.
that's what you have to build on, and then hopefully that next year you're looking at the 7 to 9 range ballpark, and then year 4 you're looking at the 10 to 6, 11 to 5. Like that's how you have to do it. Unfortunately for them, that might cost Zach Taylor his job if you have another less than great year.
I mean, they really shouldn't, knowing that. I mean,
What?
Mike Brown is he's kind of he's a loyal guy. Like they said coming in, he only interviewed Zach Taylor. Like for him just to give up on Zach Taylor, like what around year 3, I don't think that would happen.
I wouldn't rule it out. It's just you're gonna have to show something though.
It's
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You wouldn't rule it out, but you're definitely going to be on the hot seat.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to be on the hot seat. I'm just saying Marvin Lewis was on the hot seat for like
Okay.
a majority of his career.
Okay,
But he still didn't move.
Well, when you said something about you wouldn't like fire him after like whatever.
Yeah, year 3, I wouldn't fire him.
You mean to tell me you wouldn't at least like put him on the hot seat?
I mean, his
Like,
job will be in jeopardy, most
yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
But it's not like how with the Browns with Freddie Kitchen. Like his first year, he did terrible, so they was like, "You just got to go."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like the Bengals at least know, as dysfunctional as they can be, we need some stability.
Mhm.
So they wouldn't just automatically get rid of Zach Taylor.
I would say the difference with Marvin Lewis and Zach Taylor is Marvin Lewis is the reason Zach Taylor will be on the hot seat quicker, just because the expectations for the Bengals are now like playoff or bust, or the expectations to win playoff games. Before Marvin Lewis got there, it was just hopefully we can squeak into the playoff one of these years. Then the Bengals end up being perennial playoff contenders, and now the expectations got high. That's what ended up doing Marvin Lewis in, just because you expect them to win, you expect them to not choke away playoff games year after year. You expect Andy Dalton to not throw what he have, one touchdown, like 11 interceptions or something crazy like that. It was his playoff numbers are ridiculously terrible.
What playoff was that? Was that
I'm
against the
talking about
Chargers?
total.
Total?
Yeah, his playoff career is abomination. It is terrible. Terrible. I don't even have to spell the whole thing. Terrible. That's how that went. But
Let's look at these stats. Hold on.
it's
See, now you got Rondell curious.
Yeah, I'm real
he
curious.
like that do sound like it's right in the park.
All right, playoff passing. Let's see. Dang, he really is. He's like 1 for. Yeah, it's 1 for 6. It's 1 for 6. 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions.
That is terrible, bro.
Yeah, he played in all.
That's TE.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's all 4 games he
You put
played
that
in.
on the t-shirt.
He got 1 touchdown.
I feel like we should just keep adding to our shirts, to these shirts. By the way, shout out to Red's friend who made these shirts. That's actually.
Well, I mean, first shout out to Hannah Miller or Red for coming up with the design. Then shout out to the friend.
Do I plug it? Do I?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
That's wild. That's crazy.
I feel like we should keep adding slogans to the shirt.
Free shirt.
What's gonna be next? That's wild.
T.E. Arable.
T.E.
How
Arrow.
you just gonna throw T Arable out the
All right, bro. You got it. You got it.
man, bro?
All
I
right,
thought we
you got
was.
it. You got it.
Thought we was.
It'll be T.E.
we supposed to be
Arable,
brothers.
And then, all right, bro.
All right.
Man,
All right.
essays. I was not gonna leave essays out of it, but you want to get rid
I
of
forgot about
because it's
T.E.
about
Arrow.
Dalton. That's what. That's
You
why.
forget about T.E. We just said it like 2 minutes ago.
Because it was about Dalton.
I mean, we could look at Baker's, playoffs, but he ain't been to
He
it.
ain't threw an interception yet in the playoff. I'm gonna tell you that.
He ain't no touchdown either.
So what? He ain't got no 6 interceptions.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
I mean, since we talk about Baker, let's go on to the Browns prediction.
That transition.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Teaching over here. I mean, it's
I'm in the flow now.
well, when he listens.
Yes, sir. Oh, that's crazy. All right, so the Browns are predicted to go 9-7. Their Super Bowl odds is 35-1, which is I don't know how much better that would be than last year because I don't know. We're not talking about the Bengals right now.
You said you don't know how well that is. I said that's better.
All right, yeah, better than the Bengals.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I don't
That's
know how
factual.
better that was from last year to now because I feel like it was predicted at 9-7 last year.
I thought last year that was the best case scenario for the Browns. I didn't think they were going to be 11-5, 12, nothing like that. We severely let our whole team down. Really, we underperformed. Going 6-10, no. 9-7, I could deal with. I think they'll be closer to 10-6, 11-5 area this year. I always thought that. I mean, even though they disappointed last year, I thought it was going to be a 7-9 win year last year. And then this year it would be from 9-11. Just the kind of same thing I was saying about the Bengals. Like, you need to keep building to be able to get there. That's a turnaround. That's a
I mean, they have been building this year.
that's a winning record. So I mean, at this
My
point,
only problem is Kevin Stefanski. To be honest with you,
I honestly think that was a great hire.
I mean, it was a great hire. I feel like the better hire would have been Kansas City's offensive coach, but Kevin Stefanski wasn't a bad hire. I'm just saying, like, has he had another head coaching job?
no, he hasn't. But he's been with Minnesota in pretty much every capacity.
Yeah.
So it's just.
And
like,
I mean, he might be a better play caller. He'll definitely be a better play caller.
Yeah.
Kitchens.
Well, yes.
well,
I mean,
you would be a better play caller than Kitchens. I could get the game, go to Ask Madden, pick each play Madden tells me to pick, and that makes me a better coach than Freddie Kitchens. I
Right.
could run downstairs, go get Hannah Miller, bring her. Random Joe on the street.
Like they talk about how great Stefanski is, but like you think on like Marvin Lewis. Like Marvin Lewis is a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. He got to the Bengals. He was still a good defensive coordinator, but we saw over time that it just wasn't gonna add up. I mean, he didn't have the players that he had when he won that Super Bowl with the Ravens, but still, like,
it's a transition too. You know, you at some point you can wear too many hats, and sometimes as a head coach, that's what does head coaches a lot of times is
like giving up the play calling and all that.
you have a lot more on your plate. I think even Freddie Kitchens said something about that. Like a big reason why he failed is he didn't know that he was going to have to deal with so much non-football stuff, and so much of football is mental. You know, I mean, it's a game of
chess.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So you
really want to throw that in here?
do this today? All right.
Yes, sir.
Make sure
Football is a game of chess.
Make sure to have you on 90 minutes and extra time next week.
You want to join us on this?
Just so I can run around and say
Chess.
chess.
90 minutes plus extra time. The
See,
revival.
this is why we
Tuesday
need.
from 12 to 1.
This is why we
On
need
the Score Air Network.
score off air because they would be able to get the inside jokes and everything. We don't.
I mean, we could kind of give a little explanation right now.
Well, it's killing our time. We gotta do it on Tyler's show.
All right, bro. All right. We're going Tyler show.
Tyler's show. But now going back to the Browns, man. I just this should be a year they put their heads down and just play football. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, it's the
Seems
talking.
like Baker's trying to do that.
You have to. You know, I mean, this is what it's all about. I mean, you have a team built to win. You don't often say that in Cleveland. So you have to go out and do it because, like we talked about for weeks, Freddie Kitchens is gone. So now if you underperform, it ain't Freddie Kitchens' fault. He can't be to blame. So now we're looking at the quarterback. We're looking at the offensive line. We're looking at the players on the team now because it was the coach's fault, right? Now we have a different coach. We're not going a different coach route again. So some players are going to have to make some moves, and they're going to have to decide that on the field. So, and as far as going to the COVID situation, I'm not seeing a lot of opt outs that super matter for the Browns. I know Billings didn't. He opted out, but he's deaf. He's a deaf piece. So I think if you just
Wait, they still had Andrew. Wait, no, we had Andrew Billings.
yeah, and he went to Cleveland and then
Alright.
he opted out.
Yeah,
But
y'all should be happy that he opted out.
yeah, he would have been a deaf piece. But it's more so a lot of things are going to come down to that too. You know what I'm saying? Like what happens if a star player, not just for the Browns, with anybody, opts out. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, anybody at any time could decide it's too much of a risk factor. I know Tom Brady's getting older in age. That may be a concern for him. I done did everything I needed to do. What happens if Pat Mahomes just says, you know what, forget it. I don't think putting my life at risk, and I'm gonna still get this.
After that big paycheck he got, I don't think he will.
Man, I'll sleep on all that money. Just give me a pile of it. I ain't coming to work either. Forget it. But and I think they still get paid if they don't.
He got the guarantee, so yeah, he should still get it.
Charge it to the game.
Yes, sir. But
I need to see it.
All right, but D'Angelo Hall on Odell Beckham Jr. since it's his year 2 in Cleveland, he said he's gonna be back to form. You believe that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all truly believe that?
Yes.
Baker
gotta throw it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baker threw it to him last year and he still had 1,000 yards and he didn't play that well. Just take that, put that in context. You don't play that well, you still get 1,000 yards. He still had over 80 catches. He wasn't
with the coach that didn't call anything.
All right,
he got a lot done. So it's just now. You got a whole line. Put Conklin over there. You got Jedrick over there. So you now have
mentioning them too.
Yes, because that was the biggest problem with the Browns. I felt like Kitchens was stupid,
right?
But I think the line it wasn't giving you time to throw. So you're dealing with stupid, and oh no, here they come. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for you to get the ball out your hands in 0.1 seconds, really, because that's all the time you have.
Right.
Now you have somebody that can control that. And one thing about Baker that made him the number one pick is his poise in the pocket when he has room. Going back to Oklahoma, he had one of the best O lines that you could have in college. So when you give that man space to operate, he's going to be able to pick you apart. You can't have space when you got a 300-pounder in your face every time. So I think it just boils down to being able to see what you've done wrong, because you have a lot of I did wrong with Beckham. You know what I'm saying? So you can go ahead and review that film. You can see what he needs and get better. And now you have time to kind of work on yourself with him. And hopefully with this quarantine, a lot of the outside distractions go away. I know Baker just got married. He's settling his life down and kind of chilling. Beckham seems to be kind of cooling out too. You know what I'm saying? Landry was always a kind of cool person. You're not seeing a whole lot of wild stuff coming out the Browns camp. It just seems like they're looked at that year, had the bad taste in their mouth, and now they want to come out and compete. So we'll see.
You also have to consider in the fact that on the offensive side, the Browns just got really stronger in getting Kareem Hunt, along with still having Nick Chubb, Austin Hooper, and still with like Odell and Jarvis, who are arguably the two best receivers in the league right now.
They are great, but I don't know if they could beat they counterparts down south. AJ Green's back. Tyler Boyd come on. AJ's back. Tyler, he's starting to come into his own. Austin Tate's a weapon. T. Higgins coming in.
Yeah, it still ain't Beckham and Landry. Along with Hooper, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. That's a plethora. That's what you. Plethora.
That's lethal.
Yes,
that's a plethora.
Yes, that whole all those names that we mentioned for the Browns are lethal.
On paper, at least.
AJ Green is very lethal. What? AJ Green is very lethal when he's healthy.
Yeah.
When he's healthy.
That's a caveat.
We're moving on. Now we're about to talk about coaches Ravens. They are predicted to go 12-4. again. I think they went to for last season, right?
Adam Dale is throwing his clipboard right now.
Yeah, did he say 16-0?
He sure did.
Crazy.
He sure did. He gonna be salty after week 1 when they already 0-1.
That's crazy. They're gonna be 0-2 by week 2.
They don't play the Bengals week 2, do they?
No, I think they do.
Oh, they be 1-1.
Nah, that's a trap game. Come on.
Oh no, they gonna get their trap game all right. That
Yeah.
week 1.
Super Bowl odds is 7-1. I still don't really know how to read these Super Bowl odds. Y'all understand what I mean?
So I believe so if it was like 8 people in a room, their Super Bowl odds would be 7 people say they make the Super Bowl to their 1 person that says that they don't make the Super Bowl.
Okay. Thanks for simplifying that, because that actually makes sense now. Yeah. So 7 out of 1 people will say they make the Super Bowl.
Yes.
That's crazy. According to Adam Dell, it should be 8. 8 people say they make the Super Bowl. 16-0.
That man said 16-0.
I mean,
Didn't blink an eye either.
Wait, who said that?
Adam.
Dell?
Yeah.
He emphasized it. He had exclamation points under the statement and everything.
Yeah, I think he had like a whole little paragraph in the score chat or something.
Really?
You just have to look through the gifts.
Yes, sir. It's a whole paragraph.
No, it's in the score chat.
Yeah, you'll find it through the gifts.
Yeah, whole
I'm
explanation.
not
They
gonna
going
find
16-0. I mean, with Hollywood Brown packing on 23 pounds, you never know. He'd be running all over the place, muscling the ball out of people's hands.
He's
might
still 155 pounds.
Okay.
That's the sad part. Man put on 23 pounds and he still weigh 150.
I mean, it's not unbelievable that they could go 16-0 though.
I mean, to me, a lot of things have to go right. A lot of things. And
You have to have Lamar Jackson still be a baller like he was.
I mean, he's not going to stop though. The worst part is that now they got footage on him. That's it.
Yeah. That can slow you down.
Right, but it's always, to me, I've always seen like a pattern of this, whether it's just me or not. But if a quarterback has one great year, that following year, whether he tries to reciprocate it or not, it always turns out to be a mediocre performance.
What quarterback you know like that?
Name it, dude.
Name it.
We can use Mahomes as an example. I mean, I know Mahomes won the Super Bowl and he did his thing, but statistically, he took a drop off.
He did.
He missed some games. It wasn't the same. I mean, he turned up come playoff time, but it was a lot of he throwing 55 touchdowns again.
I mean, to be honest, he got saved in that Super Bowl. So.
Right, Fitzpatrick. Prime example. Ryan Fitzpatrick did wonders with Jacksonville, right?
Okay, next one.
What?
He steals money, boy. I need Fitzpatrick's agent.
Nah.
Shout out to his
I love
agent.
Fitzmagic. What are you talking about?
What? He did great in Jacksonville, right?
Right.
As soon as he gets to Miami, total bust.
Was he a total bust?
Yes, we won one game.
I mean,
We won one game.
That tells you the state of that franchise.
Y'all were tanking.
They tried to tank wrong. Like,
No.
Y'all
We
were
tanked
tanking.
right.
Ooh.
We tanked
Well, y'all ended up with
because we
Tua.
got Tua. Correct. We won one game with him.
So you wanted 2 over Joe Burrows?
I mean, but he was still balling out there. I think he had 400 yards almost every game.
Who? Fitzmagic? No,
No.
All right, let's look it up.
he stuck up the joint.
I mean, this ain't AFC North, but let's look it up.
He was he.
I mean,
him and Rose
you told me to name a quarterback that did that, and I named the quarterback.
It like
I mean,
I get to his point just because it's you're not going to do that again. I mean, you can still have a good year.
No.
12-4 is not a bad year. If you look back at the Ravens and you say, okay, they was 14-2 last year and they were 12-4 this year, you're not going to necessarily say, oh, they took a big step back. They didn't.
My bad. It was Tampa Bay, not Jacksonville. Same Florida team.
The NFL got better. They're going to have attention on Lamar Jackson more because I think a lot of last year was what Lamar Jackson still can't do. I think that's how they was looking at it. Now they're looking at Lamar Jackson like he can do everything. So the coverage is going to be different. The preparation is going to be different. I think a lot of times through the year, you weren't necessarily preparing for Lamar Jackson. I think a lot of that year you were preparing for that offense, just in general, because him and Mark Ingram was a tandem that was just borderline unstoppable.
Right.
I think now with more tape, he'll go ahead and say, well, I'm going to let Mark Ingram get off there. I'd rather Mark Ingram see the ball 30 times and make Lamar Jackson have to drop back a little bit more to make some. You're going to make him do things different. Lamar Jackson is just your average quarterback when you take the feet out of the play. So
You think he's just average in the pocket?
if he's just a drop back quarterback all day, that's not what makes him special. You're just a normal dude once you're now. Granted, he can still get the job done. I think if he can stand in the pocket, that
Right.
may be what wins him a championship at some point in time. But what makes Lamar Jackson where he's at now, which I think is a regular season kind of quarterback, because the playoffs he disappointed the last 2 years. They haven't shown.
I mean, I'm not coach, so I'm not really about to defend him. But there was a lot of drop passes.
Yeah, I mean it was, but at the same time, it's on you. To me, I'm gonna give you the credit. I'm gonna give you the blame. So rather you win or rather you lose, as a quarterback of that team, you're gonna determine the fate of your squad. Um, they for the last 2 years, as far as what I've seen, they disappointed come playoff time. So I'm gonna just need to see him step up and show me that he's more than just a regular season baller, because that's a lot of guys. You can have all the awards you want, you can do your thing all through the regular season. When it comes to playoff time, winning time, you disappear. So that's my only thing with him, and that's why I still have Pat Mahomes over him as far as who I'm taking, because I've seen Pat Mahomes do it. I've seen Pat Mahomes get statistically worse, but still become a better quarterback and a championship winning quarterback. So that's all I'm saying with Lamar Jackson. He may not be the same as he was last year, but last year was like a record holder, something that you don't see often. I don't
Right.
expect him to duplicate that because that's not a record holder.
I mean, I don't expect him to duplicate it either, but I mean, I feel like he'll still have a great season. He won't have a drop off season like y'all seem to think he will.
Well, I mean, a drop off season is depending on what way you look at it. If he goes 12-4, is that a drop off? I mean, statistically, yeah, like you lost 2 more games than you did the year before. But if you look around and you win a playoff, I mean, you win a championship out of that, is it a drop off? I just think with him, it's a to be determined kind of thing, because he can play better than he did last year, and they can disappoint just like he did last year. Last year, he played a whole lot better than he played his first year. Obviously, you expect that from a rookie to a second year, but the end result was still the same.
Right.
You play to win the game. He didn't win the game at the end. It was Pat Mahomes that held that trophy up. So what I'm saying is, I need to see Lamar Jackson not only be that regular season baller that he can be, but I need to see him be that quarterback that can help you win championships too. Because otherwise, you'll just be Dan Marino. Dan Marino was one of those guys that, I mean, he balled out. He put up the numbers. He was one of the best quarterbacks you ever seen. Have no ring. So when it was time to shine, the biggest stage and the biggest moments, Dan Marino wasn't out there. So am I going to put him over a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady, a Joe Name? You name the guys. I can't, because this man don't have no ring. If you look at Lamar Jackson, then he's putting up crazy numbers and Madden-like numbers, but he doesn't have no type of jewelry. I'm going to say that he's going to keep having that same drop off, because at this point in time, that's what I expect out of him. He needs to prove different, at least in my opinion. So you can have a drop off, but you can have it's more than one way to drop off. If his rushing yards drop off by 200, is that a drop off, or is he making that up in the passing game? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a whole bunch of different ways you go. But I think with the Ravens as a team, I need to see a championship. They're at that point where it's championship or bust, because you're still paying Lamar Jackson pennies on the dollar. That's a huge factor. So this is his window. His window ain't when he gets the big money, because now that line ain't the same no more. That running game ain't the same no more. The wide receivers ain't the same no more. That defense ain't the same. You're going to have to lose something. Pat Mahomes is about to see that. You're going to lose some things where you have to pay this man. You're giving Lamar Jackson the 30th pick in the first round draft money. That's pennies on the dollar.
I mean, but what if he does like how NBA do? Like, how they take pay cuts just to make sure everyone eats. You don't think he'll do that?
He ain't taking no pay cut. Pay him the money. And if you're his agent, you would be the worst agent in the world if you told him to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
A pay cut.
But if you want him to
win,
win more Super Bowls, wouldn't it be?
he still gonna have Pat Mahomes took a pay cut. He's still left with $503 million, and that's a pay cut.
Take a pay cut?
He took a pay cut.
He did take a pay cut.
Pat
That's
Mahomes
crazy.
could have made $100 million a year. He won, like. So it's just it boils down to that, and then he's more of a risk factor too. So you have to weigh that out. Am I looking at signing up? If you're telling me I'm signing up for a Dan Marino career, am I happy for that? because I'm leaving with no ring. Or if you're telling me that I might leave with an Eli Manning career, was so whatever, but I leave with 2 rings. Like, what do you want to sign up for? So my point is, he's just going to have to show me when he's getting paid this that he can do it, because otherwise he may be where Russell Wilson is. Russell Wilson, he's still ball, he's still doing his thing, whoop de whoop, but Russell Wilson is getting paid big money now. So
Right.
he's not. They're not winning championships at this moment. They haven't won championship from the first time they won the championship when they were paying him that rookie contract. So it's just Lamar Jackson has to elevate himself early before I can see him not taking that drop off.
All right, okay. By the way, that Fitz Patrick, he only had one 400-yard game.
Yeah, I know. It was against Cincinnati.
No, we ain't have to talk about that. We could have talked about the 300-yard game against Philly, but we ain't have to talk about
So
the
you just
400.
gonna say 400-yard game, but you wasn't gonna say against him? You just gonna rob the people.
Nah, because they should have lost that game. We
It's
gonna be
a
honest.
shame.
But all right, moving on. Last but not least, we got the Steelers prediction. They are predicted to go 10-6, which is abysmal, and the Super Bowl odds is 25-1.
A lot's gonna have to go right for them. I mean, it all boils down to Big Ben, but 10-6 is it's. I think a lot of that comes from their defense. I think they're looking at the defense in the run game, and having a quarterback like Big Ben will help them, just because he's been in that system. He knows how to run those plays. He's a guy that I know he was hurt all year last year, but it's not like he's going into a different system. So I mean, 10-6 is a typical around the area. The Steelers when they're at their best. I don't think they're at their best. Again, it's been documented. I don't think you see 16 games out of Big Ben, but I think when they're doing the predictions, they're not doing the predictions off of if Big Ben gets hurt. I don't think they're looking at it as if the run game doesn't or does or whatever the case may be. They're looking at everything as best case scenario. So I think if best case scenario they got the Steelers at 10-6, I can agree with that.
You can
still
get
hate 'em.
behind that. I mean, I really can't.
I still hate him.
Punks. I had to say nice stuff about them. I hate that every time.
I mean, I really can't because I agree with you. I don't see them at their best. I mean, yeah, last year not at their best, not with their their seasoned quarterback. They went 8-8, but I feel like that was mostly off luck, to be honest. At times,
Yeah, to be honest.
It was right place, right time too, and it was the Fitzpatrick situation helped them out a lot.
Who was that quarterback last year for Pittsburgh?
at first it was
Mason Rudolph.
yeah, at first it was Mason, then it was Duck.
Then he got hurt
Yeah,
because he got annihilated by. He got smacked hard against Baltimore.
Oh, you talking about the?
oh, you talking about the Earl
football
Thomas hit?
It was like the third game of the season.
Oh, I thought you was talking about Myles Garrett with the helmet.
Nah,
That's all I ever remember about Mason Rudolph. I just keep seeing him get smacked around the head.
Nah, that Earl Thomas I don't think that put him down because Earl Thomas had hit him.
No, I thought it did because he left
No,
on the
it-
stretcher.
yeah,
with
But I think he came back.
Yeah, he did come back. After
He
that.
came back,
Did he? Okay.
yeah. And then he got
That
after
Myles Garrett was
after Myles Garrett.
that was crazy.
I want to say after Myles Garrett, they definitely benched him.
That's a run up and get done up. That's what you call that.
Yeah.
That's what you call that. That whoops upside the head.
But I mean, yeah, like
Better duck.
8. Like I feel like they could go 8-8 again. Like I don't think Ben Roethlisberger's gonna come back the same way he was at all, and I feel like he'll get injured at least by the 5th game.
I was about to say week 5 he has to be.
Like there's no way. He's up there in age. I mean, he's not as old as Tom Brady, but he's up there in age.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been taking the best care of his body over the years, and now he is. So I don't think he's just gonna come back completely the same Ben Roethlisberger that annoys me.
He's always been a walking injury bug.
Yeah.
See, I've never been a big fan of, I'm in the best shape of my life at 39. Like, no, you're not. If you're in the best shape of your life at 39, you did something wrong from 18 to 39. Because there's just physically there's no way. Especially you've been a quarterback, you've taken as many hits as he's taken, you've been injured as much as he's been injured. I know for a fact that has to take over your body at some point.
Yeah. Like,
You
totally
probably feel
body.
better now because ain't nobody hitting you at full speed in football pads. But once you start feeling that burn,
Yeah.
I just feel like he's going to end up tapping out. I think last year it was more of a foreshadowing kind of thing. Like every athlete still thinks that they can go a little bit. You can ask retired athletes now, and they'll tell you, "Oh, I'm going to give you 5 plays."
Yeah, good little 5.
So I think Big Ben probably looks at it the same way. Like when I did have a fully healthy year a couple years ago, we balled out, which is true. But a couple years and a couple aches here and there starts to build up once your age gets older. Once you start knocking on the door of 40. So it's going to be tough for him to be able to compete that way. But we'll see. The Steelers always find a way to be in that playoff hunt. It makes me sick every year, but I would expect anything less from him. And I can't sit up here and be talking football and let my bias get the best of me every time.
I mean, we
I
can.
still hate them.
I hate them too.
Punks.
So now that we're done with the Steelers, or unless you got something to say, Ty.
Nah, this has nothing to do with football.
All right.
It's Ty's DMs.
I'll tell you at the
We in Ty's DMs.
Well, I mean, I'm about to end the show right now.
Tell me about it.
Dang, bro.
Boy. We'll share the juice. Don't worry about it.
All right, man. Well, we're basically at the end of our show. Any last thoughts?
Check us out next week.
Yeah. Anyone want to shout out any social medias?
We got the Nutty North page. Go ahead and like. I don't think you can subscribe or nothing, but like, share, do all that other stuff. Don't be a hater. Support.
What about you, Ty? Shout out your stuff, man.
Yeah. If anybody is interested in soccer at all,
Which is nobody.
90 minutes plus extra time. The revival every Tuesday from 12 to 1. You also can follow me on Twitter at MrTylerF. I don't think I can say my Instagram name, my original one, but if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Ty Makes Photos, FOTOS.
I don't know what he just said about his Instagram, but
My
okay, all right. But yeah, follow me Facebook, Rondell Sutherland, Instagram, that's Sutherland Films. Huh?
Did you just shout out your email?
No, I said follow me Facebook, Rondell Sutherland.
I thought that said email.
Instagram.
Email, Hotmail,
Instagram,
Black Planet, MySpace.
Can I get out my social media? All right, whatever. I don't even be on
I'm gonna
that's
start my
Sutherland
Black
Films.
Planet page back up. It's about
All right,
time.
but that's been Nutty North. See y'all next week.